Hey guys, for your daily dose today, I wanted to share something that I shared with Ethan when he first started middle school. Oh my gosh, 4 years ago now. So just as he started middle school, we had this big talk about the fact that there were going to be things that I was going to tell him he could not be a part of, or there would be things that he would do that maybe he didn't see his friends doing, or that there were things that he'd see his friends doing that he wouldn't be allowed to do. And he was really having a hard time grasping why I was having these rules and these boundaries. And as adults, we kind of see that as pretty easy, like why we have those things. But I remember at the time thinking, how can I explain this to him in a way that he'll really comprehend it? And so I asked him, I said, have you ever thought about babysitting? And at the time he said no. I said, well, I want you to think about and imagine that you are babysitting a 3-year-old. Okay, a 3-year-old is able to get up, kind of move around, do whatever, go to the bathroom, all that stuff. But there's still going to be times that a 3-year-old is going to do something that you're going to have to jump in front of them, maybe even smack their hand a little bit and tell them not to do something. For instance, you're fixing this 3-year-old lunch, and for whatever reason, they want ramen noodles. So you got this pot on the stove, the flame is on, the water is boiling up. The 3-year-old, you notice, is starting to walk towards the kitchen, starts reaching his hand up to the stove, and you run in there and you yell no. You scare the child. You may smack its hand and tell him no. And the child may scream and go off, terrified of what has just happened. But you recognize that it's for a greater good. That you may have recognized that this child is now afraid or scared of whatever you just did, but you know that that fear is going to subside. And over time, the child is going to recognize that, yeah, that was a necessary thing for you to do. Because if you didn't do that, the pain that the child is going to experience is going to be way greater if you had just not done anything. So I was explaining that to Ethan, that there are a lot of things in middle school that are a lot like that. There are things that he doesn't know will burn him if I just let him run wild and do whatever it is that he wants to do. I was thinking about the scripture in John chapter 13 when Jesus is washing the disciples' feet. He came to Simon Peter, who said to him, "Lord, are you going to wash my feet?" Jesus replied, "You do not realize now what I am doing, but later you will understand." And as we were going through this quarantine time, I really thought, I know why bad things happen. And it's a lot of different reasons. Sometimes bad things happen because of choices I've made. Those are the easy ones for us to grasp. We don't blame God. We don't throw our hands up like, God, why are you letting... We recognize that we're stupid sometimes and we make stupid choices. Sometimes it's because of choices other people make. And we can look at those people and we can blame them for what is happening. Other times bad things happen just because we live in a broken world. And that's where we are right now. And in every single one of our households, we're experiencing the consequences of living in a broken world. And sometimes that's to remind us of things like, one, this world is not our home. Or that God is using these circumstances to grow us in some way. I look at my personal life and I realize that there are a lot of things I'm getting to experience right now that without this, I wouldn't have. The other day I was walking out the door and Lexi is grabbing my leg, begging me to stay. That doesn't always happen. And so it melted my heart that because of the time that we've been spending together, that our relationship has gotten stronger. And so when we go through hard times, sometimes we can kind of be like Peter. Now, in Peter's circumstance, it was he didn't want Jesus to wash his feet, didn't feel worthy of that. In our circumstances, we kind of feel like, oh, why is this happening? And why is this? And I think sometimes God is just whispering in our hearts, you don't understand right now, but one day you will. Praying for you guys. I love you, and I can't wait to see you guys in worship together again.